This episode of the Patriots Postgame Show is presented by DraftKings.
This is the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings.
First down,
touchdown.
Dive to the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots.
Join the conversation by calling into the show at 855-PATS-500 or email us at podcast@patriots.com.
Hand off to Stevenson. Runs it left, big hole across the 40. Cuts left in the 45. And steamrolls the defender there.
Live from our studio inside Gillette Stadium, this is the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings.
Welcome into the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings after a dominant performance against the Carolina Panthers. Final score 42-13. Paul Perillo, Deuce, I'm Kwani Lunis. A lot of excitement here. We're at Gillette Stadium, and I think it's safe to say we are very satisfied with the outcome today.
What was that? What did I just watch? I'm not used to those kind of games.
Unreal.
And I got to be honest, like the first drive of the game, I was like, Paul was like taking my shoelaces away.
Pulling hair out.
They went right down the field on the Patriots on that first drive, and I was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. I mean, let's be fair. This is the third game out of
Where
four
they started slow.
that they gave an opening drive touchdown. And it wasn't even like, I'm getting all this negative stuff out of the way to the top because I figured it would be long. But, but they turned it around. I mean, it was, you force a punt, Marcus Jones returns it, and there was no looking back from that point. So great game for Marcus Jones. He set a team record today with his punt return yardage, and I think that about says it all.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those games where I kind of got in a little bickering contest with Fred and Evan during the course of the week about just how hard it is for this team to move the ball. And when you have to go 14, 15 plays all the time, today showed you the difference. When you can get some chunk plays, and obviously, it helps to get a couple of them from your punt returner. We actually got 3 of them from your punt returner today. But they were able to do it offensively, too. And, Stephon Diggs, Drake Maye, that combination was really good. And we kind of called for that, Mike, with some of the numbers that you brought out during the week. So just a really satisfying home win, much, much needed home win. And not only you got it, but we sort of talked about we don't want any yeah-buts. There were no yeah-buts.
Yeah, but that first drive.
But
after that,
it wasn't perfect, but this was a game that the Patriots absolutely controlled. Once Marcus Jones returned that punt for a touchdown, they were never in trouble again.
And I think Fred will be coming in here with his donut eventually to continue.
Because everybody loves
his score prediction was spot on.
Pretty close.
Close.
Yeah,
very close.
pretty close. I don't know. It might have been exact. What was it? I know it was 40-something to like teens.
42.
I forget what he picked, but he definitely picked 40s for the Patriots. And not only that, he said not all the points will be scored by the offense, which even...
What's going on with Fred? He's got a feel for the league.
He's on a heater.
We like
Fred's
this.
on a heater. I told him upstairs when I gave him his props as we were leaving. I said, game recognizes game.
Hey, as you should.
Good job by Freddie.
No, this was a good one. When we get to the good, bad, ugly, I'm sure we will not be the injured. I keep on saying ugly.
I call them up, the down, and the no one can keep it straight. Don't worry.
We won't have that much bad to talk about. But Drake Maye completed 14 of 17 passes for 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. We saw him run in with the celebration, the Cam Newton Superman, which was really, nod to the Carolina kid.
No question that was an ode to his boy.
Had to be. There was no question, But overall, what did you two think of his performance and the development of his confidence throughout this game?
Extremely efficient and very calm. I thought they did a good job. Look, the Panthers don't have the greatest pass rush in the world, but you can still give up plays and you can still give up turnovers. He did neither of those. For the most part, he was clean. I think he took 1 sack the whole game. And it's just, I think a credit to Josh McDaniels, too, that he's pushing the right buttons. Drake is spreading the ball around. It wasn't all Hunter Henry and Travion Henderson today or Ramondre Stevenson. Like Paul said, you saw everybody get involved, kind of a little bit of a breakout game for Stephon Diggs. That huge third down, that was just such a beautiful play. I mean, you're seeing the connection between those guys really starting to grow. But a great game for Drake and really not turning the ball over. Just such a big part of it. You felt during the course of the game when Patriots were kind of surging and pulling away, and you're like, just don't turn it over here. That is the way to hand all the momentum to Carolina and open the door. And credit to the Patriots. They never opened the door for them from Marcus Jones' first punt return on.
Good job running the ball today. I mean, and the numbers aren't going to look great because they just kind of predominantly ran the ball late in the game. But, all 3 of their normal ball carriers averaged over 4 a carry. I thought all 3 of them looked good. I thought especially Stevenson and Gibson, I thought running really hard. Henderson took advantage of his opportunities today. I thought he squirted through some holes, and they did some misdirection stuff with him. Both Gibson and Henderson had rushing touchdowns. I mean, we can start it.
Right.
I mean, I don't really think there's a whole lot to nitpick here. Again, there was some things defensively I didn't love in this game, but bottom line is the offense was really efficient in this game.
Yeah.
42 points, and it was every bit the blowout that it looks.
That's the number we like to see on the scoreboard. And like you said, the Patriots, they worked really hard today. And you know who else works hard on a regular basis? Brunt Workwear. They're based right here in New England. Brunt Workwear making work boots that are in apparel that are built for the job site. And their gear is comfortable, durable, and named after the real workers in trades that helped design it. So you can actually even try Brunt out on the job. And if it doesn't blow you away, they'll actually just let you send it back. So why not give them a try? You can save $10 with your first order at bruntworkwear.com/Pats or with the coupon code PATS. All right, well, let's get right into it. The good, the bad, and the
Now
injured.
it's time for the good,
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
the bad,
Hey, what happened?
and the injured.
You all right, Gay?
I've mastered the open now. Should we start with the bad and then just focus on the good for the rest of the game? How do you guys want to do this today?
No, we start with the good.
We start with the good.
here.
Fine.
Yeah, don't
We might
get
not get to
cocky.
the bad.
Mike,
Yeah.
I'm going to let you lead it off.
Let's go,
whatever you
Marcus
want.
Jones. Come on down.
Absolutely.
And not just the fact that he had, 3 returns for, I think, 165 yards. That number's correct. Just the quality of the returns, the way that he does
The
it. It's
touchdown
just so
was absolutely insane.
right.
Insane. He had 3 guys in his
Just
lap
guys
as he
all
caught the
around
ball.
him. I mean, the second long one. Well, I guess
You
let's
can
stick
see
on
it
the
right
first one
here,
because
right?
we're seeing it here. on
There's
TV
2
for the-
guys
Just
right as he
dodging
catches it, and then
defenders.
81
Three,
is right there,
four.
and he just goes by him. 81 barely got a hand on him.
Evaded 4 guys right there, and then just to have the vision even here too. Finding the lanes down the field, and if we can cue up the second one, which was just, man, I didn't think he was going to be able to get out of that one, and this one was almost, he ends up all the way over on the left side, right? Yeah. So I mean, you get the corner here.
Everybody loves
He turns it
a
up.
donut.
But like right here, kind of delayed, but still gets by him, stays on his feet, keeps going, cuts it back, and right here you're like, get in the end zone,
Dodging.
Marcus. He just got tripped up. But just
the
amazing.
best stat to me was in the second half, he had sort of a terrific 19-yard punt return.
Yep.
And you're like, that's the best you could do,
Right.
19 yards. 19 yards is a really, really good punt return.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a good punt returner, you average like 10 a return. And he had 19, and it was like, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened on that one? Just electric. You know what I think of him as a return man, Mike?
No,
You saw it all on display today.
It should be noted, Julian Edelman tweeting during the game saying, what a game for 25. Obviously, he's always tuned in, but
There you go.
love a nod from a former Pats player, too.
No, great play.
And a great punt returner in his own
Exactly.
right.
There was a reply saying he's coming for your title, but I don't think he's quite there yet.
I think he's already better.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
I've never seen a guy return punts. I mean, I would go back to maybe Mike Haynes, and that's
Deion
like 100
Sanders.
years ago. No, I'm talking about Patriots.
He's like, wait a minute.
I'm not talking about ever.
Right.
I think Marcus Jones is absolutely electric with the ball in his hands. He's so hard to tackle. I would
Hope he just
have a hard time saying anything different than Mike.
No, hope he can just continue to help them with these kind of plays because it really was. He was the turning point today, and it's such a huge weapon. I mean, it's strange to think you go back to 2023 when he had the walk-off against the Jets. He tends to have good returns, but today he was special.
Yeah, and I would just say, it's 42 to Fred, can I just ask
Yeah,
specifically
welcome in, Fred, by the way.
what was your score?
41-10.
41-10.
And it was
Okay.
close. I
Pretty
said
close.
40 something to teens. I knew it was really close.
All right, who do you know, and how do we get in touch with them?
It's a feel for the league.
Fred,
I
Fred
love it. He's a
Stradamus.
ball guy.
It's a feel for the league.
Yeah, this was a good one. And not only that, I gave you props too. You said 40-41, and you said, but not all those points would be scored by the offense.
Didn't I?
Yes, you did.
You
And I
know.
gave you props for that too. I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs of my first one. 7 targets, 6 catches, 101 yards, long of 33. Terrific 3rd and 15 conversion. I want to say the first drive of the second half. And, which sort of, I mean, I know the game was over at the half, but like it sets the tone. Like nothing to worry about here. We're going to come out and we're going to move the ball in the second half too. I thought the decision for Josh McDaniels and Drake May to get the ball downfield a little bit to him.
Yeah.
He had a 4th down late in the game on a back shoulder play. this was kind of what we were hoping for with Diggs. I think there could be a different kind of weapon. And for once, the idiots in the media, like you and I, Mike, called for something during the course of the week that actually happened. You know, can we seem to get Diggs a little bit more involved and try to get the ball a little bit more downfield, a little bit more often? So I thought it was a kind of a time machine performance for Stephon Diggs today, and really impressive.
It's a great way to put it. I mean, just that third down you mentioned down the sideline, that to me is what Stephon Diggs has been doing to the Patriots. Those are the ones that rip your heart out. This is it right here. You're taking a look at it, but just great timing. You can see the chemistry.
That was a fourth down.
Fourth down, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. But this is what you were hoping for when you got Stephon Diggs, and here we are, week 4, coming off an ACL. Things are starting to pick up a little bit. Him and Drake got to be feeling good today about this connection.
Yep. Speaking of which,
Drake Maye, come on down.
Has to be on the
You're
list.
on the good list.
Absolutely on the good list.
Just nice to see Drake. I mean, look, we've seen him be calm in the pocket and look composed and like he knows what he's doing. I mean, it really has looked that way since the spring. You've had occasional errors and brain farts from him today, other than maybe a couple that he maybe underthrew. Otherwise, I mean, he completed, 80% of his passes?
14
crazy
for
like that.
17.
I mean, he was just on, and he's seeing the offense. And I just think as a Patriots fan, bringing Josh McDaniels back, you have to feel encouraged. He's responding to the system. He's passing it around. Everything you could ask from Drake Maye in year 2 was on display today, and there was no, oh, shoot, didn't mean to throw that interception, or oh, shoot, didn't mean to try to make something out of nothing and get strip sacked again. You saw him put it all together today, and if he continues to play like this, the Patriots are going to start to build something here.
I got to add Borregales, of course, to the list. Granted, we didn't get the field goals that we predicted earlier in the game, but 6-on-6 for extra points, very much needed. Again, in the NFL, it's expected that you make those kicks, but in a game like this, when we talk about being the best of the worst,
He's not expected, so that's good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now it just proves that this is something that he's capable of doing, and we need to see that for the rest of the season.
I mean, he was fairly consistent, missing one here or there all
Exactly,
summer long.
yeah.
So I was kind of pulling for him all day just to be perfect and again be part of the whole team today to take something positive away. So you've got the kicking game, the special teams. And the offense certainly had a number of things that they can
and I
build
hope
off
that
of.
Panthers Fitzgerald wasn't doing anything for the Panthers.
Yeah,
kicking-wise.
well, it didn't
pretty
really seem like
embarrassing.
I mean, I guess I got to dig a little deeper,
had a
but it
big
didn't seem like the
boing.
knuckleball kickoffs really.
well, they only
the
kicked off twice. So
Well, there you go. Thank you, Paul.
I'm glad when they just showed, when you were talking about Drake Maye, Chris had a little montage of a couple of early plays, and I'm glad he included one. It was that little leak to Austin Hooper.
Yeah.
So the first drive of the game, they go 3-and-out, and then Marcus Jones returns the punt. So really, they haven't done anything on offense yet, and it was a great drive starter to Austin Hooper on that play. And then I thought he did a really nice job. And the reason why I have Hooper on my list, so this is a nice, great way. This is the first of 3 straight chunk plays on this drive, and he ends it with a terrific block, to finish off on the TD. Hooper was involved when I think Maye kind of scooted around the corner, and he was a receiver, and he turned and recognized, and he did a nice job of shielding off, I want to say number 32 for the Panthers. So I thought Austin Hooper, thought his role at the beginning of this game was a little bit bigger. I think that they maybe wanted to limit Hunter Henry and his snaps a little bit. So I had Hooper on my list because I thought he was ready to go on that first touchdown drive.
I love that drive too, Paul. Just to say, Hooper had the 24-yarder.
I think they had three
Gibson
straight
for
plays of
21,
over 20 yards.
And then you had Ramondre for 22. So 3 straight chunkies, 20-plus yarders.
That's what we call them, Fred. We don't call them X plays. We call them.
Oh, we changed it.
Mike calls them chunkies.
You guys tell me if the lingo changed. I had X plays written in my notes.
We call them chunkies now. No, but there were a number of those plays. There were a number of those plays today of Maye having time, seeing the field, and finding the receiver. I mean, those catches they showed with Diggs. I mean,
This is the difference when you run the ball the way they did today. They never really got in any passing situations. They had like 1 3rd and 15 after the holding call in that drive. They were in manageable down and distance all day, and they had no pressure.
You just said it. He had time. And that's something we talked about all week, is that the Panthers' pass rush is really not getting there.
But they only threw it 17 times. So when you stay out of long, they're not going to be able to get any pressure on you because you didn't have to pass today. You passed when you wanted to today. And that's, I agree with you guys, that there was no pressure on him at all. Nice job by the offensive line. Nice job by Ben Brown stepping in for Jared Wilson. I thought he had a good block. I think he basically carried Henderson into the end zone on his touchdown run. He did a good job with the push on that. So give those guys up front. And, I mean, you're right, Fred. They only had 1 sack, and now they have 2. Yeah. But they had they had pressure, no pressure at all today. I thought the offensive line was up to the task.
Another thing I'd add to the good list, and so this is double fold. So as we mentioned in the pregame, Terrell Williams just being announced that he is fighting prostate cancer. So of course today was also the crucial catch game for the Patriots, and it was kind of serendipitous because this was apparently the first game in the home game that they were able to do it. But also the fact that Zach Core, we know him now being the play caller in this right now filling in, but being able to get some good defensive plays. Not that there was much to defend with Carolina, but those coming in twofold, I thought it was kind of like a heartfelt moment of, wow, you're really doing this thing.
Yeah, it all tied in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it all tied in. Yep. I thought, are you done with your goods, Paul?
Are you done?
No, I wanted to point out the running backs too. I thought I thought Gibson and Stevenson I thought ran really hard in this game. Again, the number 9 for 38 for Stevenson, 6 for 27 for Gibson, both over 4 yards a carry. And those numbers kind of dropped because at the end of the game they were just running the clock out, running the ball into the line, and they weren't getting much. But I thought that drive that you're talking about, Stevenson rips off a 22-yarder. Gibson had a long run in there as well, a 21-yarder, I think, on the next drive. I thought the running backs gave him a lift today. And after last week, I mean, let's call it like it was. There was some pressure on that group today. They needed to hold on to the football, and they did. So I wanted to point out those running backs. And Henderson chipped in with 7 for 32. That's the kind of stuff that I think he can provide. That little, not end around, but a little misdirection play that he got like 6 yards on. So I thought he gave them a little bit of a spark too. So the running game was really good today.
Would you attribute that to the O-line primarily, or was it a combination of them and also the running backs stepping up their game?
We went into the game thinking Carolina is averaging almost 6 yards allowed per carry. You better be able to run the ball today. Well, they ran the ball today. Yeah. They ran the ball against the bad run defense, and that allowed, as I said, Drake Maye to pick and choose when he threw the ball, not having to drop back 35, 40 times in some long yarded situations. They really didn't face any bad down and distance situations today.
Yeah. I'm just going to put Hunter Henry up there because, he only had 2 catches, but I thought both catches, including the touchdown that he ran along the sidelines, he just continues to deliver, and maybe the bar should be a little higher because he always seems to deliver. But those 2 catches were important. Conversion down there at the goal line. He didn't quite get in, but got them there, set up the score, and then to bring in another score himself. He's got 3 touchdowns already. Had 2 last year. Hunter Henry just continues to deliver. Wasn't a prolific day for him, but just a solid day for one of the leaders on this team, and a guy that it was nice. Like, it was a little less work for him today. We got to focus on some of the receivers a little bit more, but I don't know. I still wonder if he got in there.
I thought he got in, man.
Did it break the plane?
And then when he did that turn, he did a turn back.
When he first caught it.
Yeah, that would be, if he got in, that's when he got in.
Yeah.
I don't think he does.
Okay, keep going.
He shifted back.
Now he can't see the ball.
Horn's in the way now. Yeah. So
but
it's close.
I just think from deduction, he got in.
Need to see one of the tennis replays, like
right, exactly. I need it by the second.
If this was a close game, it would have been a perfect time for a Not today.
We're point pinching here.
Not today. Personally, that's all I kind of have specifically. There's definitely some individual plays I think that are worthy of talking about.
I thought Barmore early in the game, the defense.
Oh wait, I have one more.
This is one of those things. And I'm going to get made fun of during the course of the week. I don't think the defense played great today. I really don't. I think a bad offense moved the ball pretty consistently against you, and they just kept stalling when they got to the 40 because they're a bad offense and they had no weapons. They had one guy.
I don't know if they really wanted to play today either, Paul.
That's another one for another time.
I don't know.
Don't rain on my parade. So the first drive, they go right down the field. The second drive, they're moving down the field, and Barmore makes a big play to back down a pass on second down, which sort of got them behind the chains. They end up getting off the field. The next drive, I think Harold Landry got some pressure on Bryce Young, and McMillan was open on the play, and he ended up one-hopping him because I think Landry affected his throw. So while I don't think the defense was great today, I think individually there was some plays here and there that really turned the tide in the Patriots' favor, and then obviously Marcus Jones and the offense get going, and you end up getting some separation. But, what you look at the end of the game, and this isn't like garbage time at the end, they got outgained today and out first down today, and it wasn't just the last drive. Like going into that drive, they had given up more yards.
They had six first downs on the first drive.
In the first half, they got outgained and they were getting blown out.
Yeah.
Like, again, that's because of the Marcus Jones factor, but defensively, they continue to get off to these slow starts. I think that's a concern.
Yeah, that's a
I was going to piggyback on that. I don't know if he's on the list, but Chase I felt like was involved in that kind of sequence that you talked about. Barmore had the pass rush you mentioned on second down. Chase had the stop on third down to get off the field, and then 2 possessions later, on 3rd and 16, he had the sack on a 3rd and down to back him up. You know, so a couple different plays where I thought they came through in the clutch, and it's a weird defense. I said to Evan at one point, I was like, you know, when you get them into they have to pass situation, I feel pretty good about the Patriots defense. But when it's conventional and they can kind of run or pass, it seems like there's not as much pressure. Like they're able to kind of deal to the flats and get quick passes out, move the ball. But then as soon as a mistake happens and they get into 3rd and long, it's like, all right, now it's time to cook.
But like even that, like when I say, and again, I know people are going to be like, "Are you kidding me to give up 13 points?" Like even like the 1 sack that they had today, Bryce Young just fell down. Like he's dropping back, and instead of he tries to escape and he trips over his own feet. You know, it's just like.
Well, there were a couple 3rd downs too where it felt like they were still in the game and they're just running draws. And it didn't seem like they were really interested.
The word
in
capitulation comes to mind. Like on the second Marcus Jones punt return, it was like they looked at each other and said, "It ain't going to happen
not today.
We're going to be 2-18 in our last 20 road games."
Right.
Ouch.
I know Vrabel hates that we talk about it, but for bads, do we want to add penalties again?
Early on.
Early on, yeah.
You already moved
I
into the
thought,
bads.
yeah,
Okay.
I think we're there.
No one else has any. Freddie, you got no
I mean,
other
there's a
thoughts?
lot more good.
Early on when it was still a game, I was looking at trying to think, okay, who on defense played pretty well? I put Spillane up there. I think, he had some pretty good stops. And I put Craig Woodson in there.
Oh, yeah.
He flashed a little bit,
He's
especially in the run game.
He's coming up on another list.
Yeah, especially in the run game. I think I saw 31 get his nose in there a few times. So I give him credit for that. You mentioned the running backs, Paul. I didn't think you would because I think, you were going to say, well, they did what they're supposed to do.
Well, they did, but they did it well.
But I give them credit, and I give Gonzo credit for playing the whole game, until they took the starters out. Good to see that. Again, that's what he's supposed to do, but I just think it was good that he was out there and playing every play.
Yeah, we should have mentioned that. I agree with you because that's exactly what we talked about. So now he's a little bit more prepared going forward.
Right.
Not because I don't think he was great, but the fact that he was out there as much as he was, I think is going to make him better next week playing against Buffalo, who again doesn't have great receivers, but it's a great offense. Mm-hmm. So you're going to need Gonzo.
Yeah.
Did get him warmed up.
Go ahead with your bads.
All right. Yeah.
I'll go. Just the defensive start. I mean, and that's, like I said, 3rd time in 4 games that they've allowed just an opening drive right down the field. I mean, this wasn't even like competitive. There was no 3rd downs. It was just 10 yards, 10 yards, 10 yards pretty much right down the field. I don't know if that's not ready to play, wrong schematic idea going into the game, but they've got to figure out a way
the underneath
to
stuff
start
is a
faster.
problem.
Yeah. I mean, and
I think all the stuff is a problem. They generally make adjustments against the run. And they start off being leaky against the run and something changes. Now today, I think the second half was a little irrelevant in terms of stopping the run. Their numbers against the run today were not good. But that's about the only thing I can say that they do reasonably well is they've stopped the run. I think anything the other team wants to do, throwing the ball, they can do.
Yeah.
And Woodson gave 2 touchdowns. So I couldn't put him on the good list. I agree with you. And to piggyback on your point, 3 touchdowns on the opening drive. The one game they didn't allow one, they had a 3-and-out against Miami. The second drive went touchdown. So whatever they're doing with their game plans, if it's Mike Vrabel, if it's Zach Core, they need to fit. We get the actual player of the game today.
Wow.
Nice.
Let's bring him right in.
There
Marcus
he
Jones,
is.
welcome. Congratulations.
What's up? How you guys doing?
Great. First question, are you tired?
Seriously.
A little exhausted and everything like that, but definitely can run a little more.
Marcus, I just got to ask you, it's amazing to me how many players are around you when you field the ball and you just have this innate sense to get away from guys. And when we counted 4 players on that first punt return you took to the house, where does that come from? How did you develop that skill to just be so good in traffic?
Yeah, so like, man, I was blessed enough to end up having a father that he taught me the situation of catching punts and everything. So I always had an offensive mind as well. So I'm kind of fearless back there and everything. So that's kind of like my mentality. I'm trying to return everything.
Marcus, what would you say when it comes to your preparation, whether it was film or just in practice, helped you prepare to take advantage and exploit this Panthers overall through today?
Yeah, man. First off, Spring, man, like when it comes to special teams, man, he always gives us the inside scoop of certain things that can happen. And then also, man, my teammates, like every single time we're back there, we're trying to score. That's the main thing. We're trying to get the offense in a good position. We always talk about getting the first down for the offense. And, when you got guys that, the other 10 guys that want to make sure everyone's blocked and, make sure we get in the end zone is so important. So I commend those guys so much for, laying it all on the line every single time that we're able to return the ball.
Marcus, has anyone let you know that you now hold the franchise record for a single game punt return yardage?
Yeah, people have been telling me, and I was just like, man, that's crazy. It's a blessing for sure. But whenever I was out there, I wasn't thinking about that. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like you're just out there trying to put the team in the best spot possible.
And the guy that had the record's a Hall of Famer, Mike Haynes. So it's something. That's something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
Marcus,
that's crazy.
Just what can a win like this do for a young team like you guys? A lot of young players, new coaching staff. What can this do for you guys as you get ready to head to Buffalo next week?
It means a lot, being able to end up getting a win in the National Football League in general. It's hard to win. But whenever you're going into the next week with a divisional opponent, momentum is real. But we know it's a little different whenever it comes down to playing in the division. So especially playing in Buffalo, it's hard to win out there. Their fan base is loud and definitely have people in certain situations to where it can make it uncomfortable for a lot of people. But, we're going to prepare and get ready for next week.
So, Marcus, you had 3 returns today, and the worst one went for 19 yards. Have you ever had a game where the worst return you had went for 19 yards?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
So will you be making music about this day?
Nah, I won't be. That's a great question, though.
It looked like music on the field to us, I got to tell you.
Who's bringing it home?
It was music to our eyes.
Awesome.
All right. Well, listen, we'll let you get back to your teammates. Thanks for joining us.
Enjoy the celebration.
For sure. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks,
All right,
Marcus.
Bye.
I mean, seriously.
Nice get by PR for
Right.
But,
I know.
just a
Player of the
silly,
game.
just a silly game. Like when you think about 3 returns, all big plays.
Yeah.
And that first one, I actually, at halftime, I'm walking through the press box and, I'm going to get a whoopie pie, Mike, if you must
I had a
know.
whoopie pie too, Paul.
Okay. So I bump into Elliot Wolf. And I was like, that first return was ridiculous. And he just looks at me and goes, what? He goes, just special. He's a special guy, special player. And I was like, that's what, like, you can't teach that. Like, you're like, where do you get, like, it's just kind of innate. You had 2 guys bearing down on you. I don't know how many guys called fair catch in that spot. And it would have been probably the right move. But he just is able to squirt free, and then he changes direction. He kind of got spun on the missed tackle and went back the other way, and bang, he's out the back door.
And when you
gone.
look at from the end zone camera as he's coming, it's amazing how he kept his balance on the sideline and stayed in bounds.
Oh, unbelievable.
Because a couple times
I thought
he was close to
gonna
getting
fall.
knocked out of bounds.
absolutely.
I don't know how he did.
Just amazing balance.
So that was the other one, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about the 60, whatever
yeah.
yarder. That was,
61.
yeah. I mean, like I said, it's amazing that you have those kinds of plays, and they're considered the other plays in this
Right.
game because he was so good.
You guys have watched football for a while, and you've seen good punt returners. And
Calling me old?
the great ones, though, it's every game they're a problem. Can we develop that
And he's a problem
consistency
every
where
game.
every game it's like, oh, crap, don't kick it to that guy.
Like, I know I get my man crushes and stuff, and he's one of them, but I do feel every time they punt the ball to him that can happen.
Yeah.
And I do. And it's a legitimate feeling. And I don't always have that for, it's not like a Patriots thing. It's just, it's a Marcus Jones
It's
thing.
a
an
combination
electric player.
of good hands, courage, field vision, being able to see.
Decision making.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
rarely see him, make a bad choice.
Yep.
Courage is a great one, though, Fred, because that's
Courage
when I
is
asked him
huge.
the question, I'm like, there are just people all around you. You're looking up. I mean, it's just such a hard skill. And I guess shout out to his dad, who I know listens to our show sometimes on
Oh, even
Patriots
better.
Unfiltered. So maybe he picked up some punt tips from us, over the
Maybe
years.
maybe his dad can call in and tell us.
Right.
Tell us what you had him do so I could do it with my son today.
Yeah.
Who had 3 pick sixes, by the way.
So that was good.
Jesus, it just doesn't
Work it
stop.
out. I just got to work
Now,
it out.
did you get any sense, like,
Campbell.
if he hadn't returned that first one, like, oh, this could have been a game?
Yeah.
Yes, I
Even
do.
in retrospect.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
And even knowing what happened over the next 50 minutes, Fred,
Yeah.
the other team took the ball and went right down the field. Then they forced a 3-and-out. Then they took the ball and they went partly down the field. And then they punted and allowed an 87-yard punt return. I think that changed the entire complexion of the game. Had they gone 3-and-out again and the Panthers take over, say around say their own 40,
Yeah.
they were moving the ball.
Yeah.
So it might. I mean, I was thinking, you get down 2 scores. I don't care who you're playing. You get down 2 scores, you can lose.
Right.
You know. So yes,
Yeah.
the short answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot, but I think you saw it in the win against Miami, and you see a little bit here where the Patriots have taken a couple punches and they've had to bounce back a little bit. Not as much today, but I agree with the point early on that it looked bad. I mean, I was up there beside myself. I didn't expect that. I mean, I was hopeful that maybe the end result would look like this, but early on it looked like it was going to be a game, and it just, again, the slow starts on defense, something that got to be fixed.
I mean, for a guy that's been struggling, and Bryce Young, I thought he looked awfully comfortable for the majority of the game, and then finally they got some separation and got him in some must-passing situations.
And then they became easy to defend.
And then he looked, he looked a
when
little
it's problem time.
He looked a little skittish at that point, but it wasn't always like that.
No.
I thought he looked pretty comfortable in this game.
It's totally bizarre.
For good
to me
stretches.
to feel like, man, if we get them in 3rd and long, I like our chances. Where, conventionally 3rd and 6.
But even then, they were missing. The 2 best, the second 2 and 3, right? Then they lose.
Sanders.
They lose 4 in the first play of the game. Like they just had no. They got the ball in space to their tight ends today, who just couldn't do anything with it.
Well, Tommy Tremble's he's a solid player, but not a
they're
dynamic
glorified blockers.
Right.
Like I mean, they had. Tremaine had 3 for 36. Tremble had 5 for 42. Evans had 3 for 23. But these guys caught a lot of these passes in space. And the first guy just would chase him down and tackle him because they weren't dynamic players. I think Jatavion Sanders, may have been a little bit more of a going concern.
I mean, he was a big part, and that's what I was worried about 2 weeks ago against the Cardinals. They were down 27-3, and they made a furious comeback, and were kicking an onside kick to try to, win it at the end. So I was a little bit worried about that. But Sanders was such a big part of getting them back into the game, and I think that really hurt him. That was a place I think they could have exploited the Patriots defense a little more.
Like if that's an athlete in space right there, there's a lot of space when he's catching that ball. Look at this. Look at all the green.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the underneath stuff's the problem.
Yeah.
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 I agree with Freddie.
Lots of the flats.
Whether it's
Especially-
too much,
what's
whether they're
weird-
giving them too much cushion or they're guessing wrong or whatever, there's too
In
much.
the last 2
there's
weeks,
too much space.
To your point, Fred, the last 2 weeks you're playing offenses that don't really push the ball downfield.
Yeah.
So why is there so much cushion underneath?
Right. Right.
And
I don't
then-
know. I
and
don't
then
know
when
the
they-
answer.
And then they did try a 4th down in the second half. They went down the field and they had him. And he overthrew McMillan down the sideline.
Oh.
And it's just too easy right there. That's just pitch and catch.
Yeah.
Wait, to your point though, so you don't think they had the best defensive performance, but something
No.
clearly did shift from that slow start.
Well, once
not
you get
enough.
the big lead,
Yeah.
then it's
Marcus
Then
Jones.
it was just Marcus Jones X-play.
Yeah, they were hanging on, and I mean, I think a lot of teams, you get them in that position, they're going to start to play even better. And I think Carolina looked at their injuries and what they had, and I just saw a downshift in the intensity, especially on those 3rd down plays. Where I'm like, you're running a draw right here, like the game is hanging by a thread, and you're kind of just.
It was like
letting it
3rd
go.
and 10 from the Patriots 40, and they ran a draw.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we like?
Yeah.
Are we trying to win the game? And it was like 7-6 at the time. It wasn't. The game wasn't over.
Yeah, strange. But Patriots did give up 100 yards rushing for the first time. So, I think sometimes I
Yeah.
like to get rid of like those kind of stats where like, I haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher because it just gives you this false sense of like, well, they're amazing then. I think that all aspects of the defense need to need
28
work,
for 129, averaged 4.6 a carry. But again, I do think some of that was piled up in the second half
Sure,
when they were
sure.
kind of playing soft.
Yeah, well, that's why I like just getting rid of the number. Like, we don't have to hear about the no 100-yard rusher anymore. But if we're sticking on the bads, I would just throw kind of double dip. I don't think the tackling was great again. I thought there were a lot of missed tackles
I
early.
agree.
I
think the linebackers continue to struggle
It's
in
like
space.
3 people need to get on every tackle. And I mean, and to their credit, I think this is something that's statistically backed up that they miss tackles, but they don't give up a lot of yards afterwards because they do fly to the ball.
They are swarming, yeah.
But they're not taking guys down. They're losing critical yardage that in games that are close, that's going to be the difference in the game. So I think the tackling, and then, look, 2 for 2 in the red zone, it is what it is. You know, the end, it was Andy Dalton and stuff. But still, 2 drives in the red zone, no stops. So that continues to be an issue for this defense. Tackling, red zone.
What would you like to see them execute in the red zone for that to improve?
Well, sometimes these drives, it just feels like it's already determined, like they're going to score on this drive. It doesn't feel like they're going to give up a few plays and then we're going to throw the brakes on. The old bend, don't break. It feels like, we're going to break this drive, but, next drive maybe we'll catch this. So areas for improvement for sure.
I would say short yardage too. It seemed like they were all conversions today.
Yeah.
And I would throw Carlton Davis. A couple of penalties in the first half. I mentioned the play down the sideline that McMillan was open deep. That was Carlton Davis in coverage. He kind of got a little fortunate that the ball was overthrown. So there's still things to work on defensively, especially. That's why I think we got to call Freddie in the pregame show. At what point does the defense sort of start to look side-eyed at the offense for costing them games? And I was like, when they start playing well.
Yeah.
Because that does happen on teams where one side of the ball is playing consistently well.
Absolutely.
That hasn't been the case so far.
Yep.
I think the offense has played better than the defense over the vast majority of the 4 games.
Yep.
Certainly was the case today. The offense was excellent today.
Did you want to add anything, Fred?
No?
Yeah.
I think we've said it all when it comes to the bad.
Well, that's good. By the way, you got a few emails specifically mentioning you. We have Anthony in Seattle saying he wants 13 more guarantees from you.
No, I only do it when I feel it.
It's the feeling. Okay,
that's the key.
You can't force the feeling.
Does everybody forget that he picks the Patriots every week?
But I don't lock it. I don't lock it.
To me, the impressive part was the score.
Yeah.
Well,
you basically nailed the score, and it was not a convention. Like, people don't say 42-13 to a team that's won 3 out of 19 times at home.
Adam in
haven't
Louisiana.
scored 40 points since the
Hat tip
2021
to you,
season.
my good sir.
Adam in Louisiana calls you "Feel for the League Curse."
That's right.
So that's the new nickname that we will be going with here on the show.
Feel Fred.
I like
That's
Feel
to me
Fred.
the impressive part is
Don't
anybody
call
can say,
HR, please.
Patriots are going to win today. Fred says 41-10
Right.
for a team that's won 3 out of 19 times at home, and they win
Pound the
42-13. There are predictions. Like predicting that the Giants are going to beat the Chargers, as an example. Someone did that.
I don't know why would they do that.
And by predicting that the Saints would cover against Buffalo, someone else did that too. But
Was that
It remains a name.
41-10 was your prediction. They won 42-13.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, my friend.
Well,
Pretty good.
Did you tell?
So couple injuries.
Oh yes.
I don't believe it might have been score related, but Jalen Hawkins was announced with a hamstring in the third quarter.
Hamstring.
I don't believe he came back.
Did not see him.
May have been score related though. Who knows? So something to keep an eye on. Davis and Charles Woods both left the game. I think I know Davis came back. I think Charles Woods was involved in.
He
special
ran into
teams
Milton
later.
Williams, actually,
Yes,
which
on the,
was
on the
the fact
punt
that
return
Davis came
touchdown.
back is good because it was a head injury, so that means he's okay.
Did they announce that? They didn't announce anything.
That's what I heard. He got hit its head on the ground or
Yeah.
something like that.
I don't know. He just seems like he's battling through stuff a lot. Like we were handling him
That's
through
been
training
his
camp.
career, right?
He's
been,
always
yeah.
battling through stuff. All training camp, would be out a couple days here and there. So he seems pretty tough, but hopefully he can get healthy at some point this season.
Okay.
I think we got through all 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kept it pretty positive. I like it.
I mean, we don't care, but Panthers guys were going down.
Yeah,
like
that's why I
snowflakes.
listed.
Yeah.
They were going down
Yeah,
like
they were
flies.
falling like snowflakes.
Which is another example, by the way, of the Mike Dussault. Panthers had a little bit of a capitulation today. Guys were going down left and right.
Oh yeah, a lot of injuries for the Panthers. I mean, right off the first offensive play, they ran that little end around to that guy, and then he got carted off.
Right. I elbow.
Tough.
Must have been a bad elbow, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
He never got up off the ground.
Yeah,
they brought
I
the
didn't
card
want-
out for
someone
him.
told me not to
giving
watch it.
He's giving the thumbs up on the side, like as he was getting carted off, and I'm like, with an elbow?
Interesting. Yeah.
With an elbow? I mean, I'm sure it was a bad elbow injury.
Oh yeah.
Although they didn't originally announce him as questionable to return,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I might be getting ahead of myself, but from this win today, what would you guys want to see replicated as they go and face the Bills? And
Wow,
The
Buffalo?
big plays.
I'll give you one.
Yeah.
No turnovers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
yes, that's
Good,
a good
Freddie.
one. That's a
I
really good
mean,
one.
let's replicate that every week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. just to continue to cut down on the turnovers. The penalties would be great too. I mean, it's still a high volume. You can kind of brush those under the rug today because they won big, but you get into close games. These are the game of inches where it counts. So, I think it was mostly on, I guess
7 more today, huh?
7
Jeez.
more.
Didn't seem like that many today, but that's a
Looks
lot.
like
Because of the
4 on the defense, 2 offense, 2 special teams had a couple too.
I would say, I don't know how realistic it is, but man, if you can give Drake that type of time every week, he's going to do good things.
Oh boy,
he's going to do good things.
Yeah.
So,
well, if you can face that kind of pass rush every week, that would
Right.
probably help
That would be a
pass
big help.
protection, too. But I think, look, when you're at this point, we talked about it, be the best of the bad. When you're trying to climb out of the basement, yes, we're going to dissect the win and point out all the little flaws that need to be corrected. But at the same time, just for Mike Vrabel, for a new staff, for a young team, we talked about it after the Miami game, needing belief, needing to have some kind of validation for what you're selling. The kind of result today that you see with that amount of points, especially for an offense the last year, it was such a grind. And there are a lot of pieces back from that grind and that offense. You got to start to feel good about Josh McDaniels, that he's pushing the right buttons, that, everybody's getting involved. Steph Diggs has got to be feeling pretty good about, what he's doing. So positive stuff. They got to build off of it, but, huge challenge coming down the pike next week.
100% agree. All right, we're getting calls, we're getting emails. So let's start looking at some of the calls. We have Christian, our regular out in LA. Hi, Christian. How you feeling?
I feel like a winner today because I was sitting here in my brand new Patriots gear, and the Patriots delivered. So that always makes you feel good. Like you guys said, top to bottom, a good win. Of course, there's a couple of things everybody could improve on. What I'm already thinking is next week, after watching the Bills game today, where they can't stop the run and they are having trouble with the backs coming out of the backfield, do you guys really give us a chance with beating the Bills if we played like we played today?
well, let's talk about the Bills next week.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I haven't digested enough.
Yeah, enjoy the win, too.
I don't think their performance defensively today will be good enough.
No.
Let me just say that.
Yeah.
Without, I'm not necessarily talking about the Bills, but against a good offense, that defense will not be good enough.
And we haven't seen this defense against a good offense
Now, the
yet.
Patriots could put up 28 like they did today, against a bad defense. Like, Buffalo has not played good defense all year. I've watched a lot of their games. They've been on in, some of the national windows. I didn't see any of today, obviously. But they've struggled defensively.
Yeah.
And I think the Patriots should be
What
able
was
to
their
exploit
final
that.
score with the Saints today?
31-19.
31-19.
Okay, so for a little bit it was a game.
Oh, no, it
Yeah.
was a game.
Yeah.
The
Saints hung
Saints
around.
were down. They were down 5, I think, with the ball in the fourth quarter, and Buffalo did what good team. They screwed around and then they took care of business
the
in the last
Saints
10
might
minutes.
be worse than the Panthers.
I think the Saints are the worst team in football.
Yeah. So,
but when you get embarrassed the way that the Saints did in Seattle last week, there's almost always that bounce back. Atlanta had the same thing in Carolina. They went to Washington and laid the wood to Washington today.
did they?
Yeah.
34-27.
It ended up 34-27. They had a 2-score lead the whole second half. They're a better team than they were last week. The Saints, I think, are a bad football team, but not like they were last week. Not in the NFL. And I wouldn't be surprised if you saw the Panthers play better next week. It's just kind of the way it is.
Especially when there are so many bad teams in the league. They all are looking for their next week bounce back, it sounds like.
Yeah, really nice game for Michael Penix. 20-26, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So he bounced back really well after
And
looking
the pick by
last year.
my Everett boy, Mike
really?
Sanderstill.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sanderstill, nice.
All right, we have David and Riley, right? Yeah, Riley?
Raleigh.
North Carolina.
Raleigh,
Duh.
Durham.
I knew that. My bad.
North Carolina.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going, team?
Hey, David.
It's a great game to watch. Had a lot of fun watching it. Feeling good about the team. You already touched on some of the defensive struggles, but I wanted to kind of home in on the first drive of the game. And do you think that it's possible that we're missing the coordinator and that really is kind of hurting the defense overall, or is the other team just scripting their plays well enough based on the film that we're just getting wiped out on the first drive of the game?
Yeah, I think this isn't the first time, and it happened when Williams was here. So I think these first drives, and we see it around the league a lot, these first drives with teams, they have success for whatever reason. Like you said, they're scripted, and a lot of teams are successful just to start out the game. So I wasn't panicking because I figured, we'd make adjustments and figure things out. But you hate to fall behind 7-0 right out of the gate.
Especially when it's so easy. Yeah. I mean, like this. I mean, I'm not sure what today was. The Raiders were 6 plays, 71 yards. I mean, they were all similar, just chunk, chunk.
I wasn't panicking, but only because of the opposition. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like they could sustain it.
Yeah.
If they were playing a good offense, I think it could have been different today. But they just don't have any options. They had one real, true, game-breaking kind of player.
He's their guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that Miami 883. I mean, these are all 10 yards per play drives that are just right down the field, no third down.
In that game, it never really changed because that's a decent offense with good weapons.
We got an email from Joe in Weymouth. He's sharing his concern. He said, yes, Drake is a pro football QB, and it's silly to measure him since he's still 27 years old. But, as if he's a 27-year-old. He's not 27, 22. He's a 27-year-old vet. But I'm not saying that you guys are saying this, but just a message to the average Pat fans. My concerns are twofold. Secondary played well enough against a really bad team, but I need to see it against Josh Allen. We all agree on that. And then, of course, number 2, Diggs is playing well, and Hollins caught a short one. But I want to see more from the wide receivers. And why haven't we seen more from the receivers?
I mean, again, this game got out of hand so quickly that it's tough to see where you're at. Mm-hmm. But so far this season, there's not enough production from the other wide receivers besides Diggs and Hunter Henry's a tight end, but pass catchers.
Until today, they haven't had any production from the wide receivers. Yeah. But today, 9 of their 14 completions went to wide receivers.
Yeah.
So I think today there was a little bit of a sign that, maybe things are going to change a little bit. Now, that might have had something to do with Hunter Henry, who I know was not 100% going into this game, and maybe they figured we can't throw the ball to him 10 times today like we have been. But 6 for Diggs, and then, 1 for a bunch of other guys, with, Booty, Hollins, and whatnot. So I guess, what's that, 8? 8 of the 14 completions went to wide receivers. I want to also point out something. Demario Douglas is another guy who's been in the crosshairs for everybody, and I don't think he was targeted at all today. I noticed him several times on blocks.
Yeah, me too.
Not a big guy, sticking his nose in, doing what he needed to do, and clearly playing the team game. Give him some credit for not pouting and not retreating. He was not a big part of the game plan, obviously, today. They didn't target him once, but
the Hunter Henry touchdown.
Yeah, was that the one he had the one of the blocks on? Yeah.
Yep, downfield. That's the kind of play that when the coaches draw it up during the week, let's go to the telestrator.
Yeah.
Let me show you what Demario Douglas, they like to point out these guys. But, watch, here it is. I just love this little pass from Drake. I mean, it was just so
Douglas.
Getting in the way.
I mean,
doing enough.
In all seriousness, 26 is not going to want to watch the tape on that play. Neither is Joe Horn, my buddy.
Oh,
Joe Horn, not a lot of effort here. Number 8, yeah. What had happened was,
right?
Yeah, I mean, Paul, you say that, but other than Diggs, I mean, Booty had a catch.
That's what I said.
And Hollins had a catch.
8 catches for the wide receivers out of 14 completions. That's what I said.
Yeah, I mean, it was Diggs had multiple.
No, but Diggs had 6 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
they're wide receivers.
So you need more production out of the wide receivers.
Yeah, so what's going on with that, though?
We haven't had any production until today from wide receivers.
Yeah,
I think even today.
Well, you only had 14 completions for it.
Okay, but
Diggs had 6 of them.
Okay, but I'm just saying that we still haven't seen a lot of production out of the wide receivers.
Yeah, but I would just say I'll take today. I don't like anything on the first 3 weeks. For the receivers. Today, you made big plays. Your wide receivers made big plays. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Today, Diggs was 6 for 101, not 6 for 34. There's a huge difference.
Sure.
It's not about the number of catches. It's about the number of yards.
No, I think Diggs, and Maye said it during the week, I got to get the ball more to him.
No, I don't remember the last time.
Again, it's the same amount, but double, triple the production.
Right.
Like, that's the difference today is they made big plays. I'll take that. You have a touchdown from another wide receiver and 6 for 101. That's great production.
Yeah, I mean, I think Booty had a couple games last year where he was productive, but I don't remember a wide receiver game like this where it was
Booty in the first game, I guess, this year would be one.
Yeah. But it's been few and far between over the last couple years, and this was the Stephon Diggs you were hoping to get. I mean, these are 100-yard receiving for
That's why
him.
I called
think
it a
37.
time machine game.
Time machine. It felt like it.
It's a time machine game. All of a sudden, he's making. I think probably like 4 of his 6 catches were downfield.
Yeah. It's pretty. It's pretty when you execute.
This is the 3rd and 15. Like,
Boom, right there.
yep. That's
Where does he get
You
to?
know, and that
He
was the
really
first
wanted
drive of the second half. The game, like I said, the game was over at the half.
But you
Everybody
wanna
knew it,
come
but you
out,
want to
you
come
wanna
out and
hammer 'em,
establish the
put it-
fact that
Yep.
we're not going to get sloppy and make this, you know, sort of, well, I know they won easy, but they really didn't do anything in the second. No, they did. They went down and scored right away in the second half.
Yep. Totally agree.
So we got another email from Mike in Binghamton, New York. He said, I want to echo what Mike said about the penalties, specifically offsides. I believe they were called for 2 in this game, but it's a problem that they've been there all 4 games. And is it really that difficult to line up on the right side of the line? What's going on there? Fair question from Mike.
Yeah.
What's going on with the
it
offside?
wasn't encroachment. It was offside. So
Yeah,
that's
offsides,
jump.
yeah.
You know, that's going too fast. You know, that's not really where he's lined up. I think Landry got called for one, right? And
Landry
Chase
and
on the other.
Yeah,
Andrew and
neutral
Chase
zone.
both
Yeah.
jumped.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, both of them in the first half. Like, too many. It's too many penalties.
Yep.
Oh, we have someone.
The face mask in the backfield that negated a good defensive play.
No, the Hooper got called for a face mask.
Hoo-
that
that's right,
pushed
the
him
off-
back,
right,
and then
right.
like 2 plays later, they got called for tripping, which negated that. and
Right.
They were able, and it was a good call on the trip, by a blatant trip. We all called that one in the press
I
box.
did. You heard it ring out.
Should have been a ref.
Trip.
I am a ref. Thank
These
you very much.
refs, they going into the game, they had the 4th most flags in the league, and I think they added to that this week.
My boy Bill Vinovich is up there.
Yeah.
But I like Bill Vinovich. He's one of the few guys that actually has control of the game.
Yeah.
You know, like the operation.
Yeah.
Do you ever once say, "Oh, what the hell is going on?" No,
Yeah.
he has control of the operation of the game.
What the hell's going on out there?
Not like John Hussey.
5 for
like-
29 for the Panthers. That's kind of a strange number on penalties.
They got caught because they got called for a false start when they were backed up, and it was a half the distance. It was only a 4-yard penalty. Steel trap.
You get that kicking penalty.
Steel trap.
Was that 15?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was another one that was half the distance. That drew Freddie's ire. You know, why is it half the distance? He wanted a touchdown, evidently.
I don't like that rule. Like, let's just say that you're inside the 10 and something.
I agree with you.
If you have a hold, it should be on the 1-yard line.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know?
You can't award points off of it, but you should every
Right.
yard that goes down to the 1-yard line.
Right.
I agree.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry.
We need to change the
Deal
rule
with
book, too. We have Thomas, who actually said he didn't get a chance to watch the game. But he was listening to radio broadcast.
Okay.
And looking at the box score, looks like Jack Gibbons had a good one. A lot of talk recently about who should be the second linebacker with Spillane. Do we think Gibbons could fill that role long term?
I don't like the linebackers.
He was with Vrabel in Tennessee. No?
I don't. I mean,
idea.
I think Christian Ellis struggled a little bit again. I mean, I have to check the tape on that, but it did seem like Gibbons got inserted in there pretty quick. And he's another one where, I mean, he had a couple good tackles, but sometimes it feels like his fingertips and their guys are about to break. So, but I would say at least superficially, I feel he's played a little better maybe than Ellis when inserted.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of with Paul. that
I
those
never
guys
thought I'd be
have
saying
picked
He
up.
this.
made some tackles, but I don't think any impact plays.
I never thought I'd be saying this in July, but I'd like to see what happens when Tavai comes back.
Me too. Yep.
You know, like,
Well,
can he help?
We should find out because he's,
Should be
you know,
tomorrow?
he's eligible. Now, he could have practiced this week, correct?
I
You could
thought
start
it was. I thought it
practicing?
was this week.
I thought you
don't-
could start practicing before your window was up, but I hope he's ready to practice.
Yeah.
We'll see on Wednesday.
Saw him on the sideline. He's been around the locker room a lot, but I
Yep.
totally agree with you, Fred. I think he's a little bit different.
He's better than Gibbons and
Yeah.
Ellis.
Yeah, so
he's
that,
a better player.
that might be the kind of boost that they need, and it's one not a lot of people are really talking about right now.
No, I mean, you know, coming off the end of last year, people were like, he's never going to be on the team.
Yeah,
You know, but now you're
He's
thinking
another one of those guys in the Stevenson,
right.
Owenu,
Right.
Duggar mode.
but,
you know,
but now you're thinking
there's
we
not
could
many of
use
them
him.
left.
Yeah.
No, but opportunity for him, and I mean it's clear what he could do. I mean Ellis, Spillane, what's his name that we were just talking about? Gosh, I'm just totally blanking on 51's name. What is it?
Gibbons?
Sorry. You know, those three all kind of similar kind of players.
Yeah.
But Tavai just has a little bit of a different twist to him. I think he's got good size and could maybe help some of the
That's a
tackling.
little bit of speed.
You made the point, Freddie, about the underneath stuff is causing problems. I agree, and that's the linebackers.
Yeah.
I don't think they've been good in space. And again, Gibbons had 9 tackles today, but I'd like to see what the average gain was on his tackles.
Let's talk about it next week after you have to deal with Buffalo and James Cook and their tight ends, because that, like, to me, Buffalo's offense with those guys is designed to exploit what the Patriots.
And you have to worry about the quarterback running, so they keep you honest in every way.
Coleman's big receiver who's physical, so
you can't cheat.
I give, not to make this a Buffalo show, but I give credit how Buffalo has transitioned. They got off of Diggs, they got off of some of that initial offense that they had, and now they've drafted some guys. And when Josh Allen's playing the way Josh Allen's playing, it doesn't really matter. But
do you think it's fair to say that after next game we'll have a good idea of who this team is, or do we still need more time?
No, I need more time. Week 5, but I think every week you get a little bit of information. But it's a really hard spot. Buffalo's a really good team, and I wouldn't want to say I'm going to overreact.
Maybe after the road trip.
Okay.
Yeah. You go play 2 bad teams on the road.
Because I'm almost more interested to see how they play in those other 2 games. I think they could absolutely go into Buffalo and upset them.
Yep.
I mean, upsets happen in this league. It's not out of the realm of possibility.
But that also wouldn't determine that they're.
But that's not going to tell me, whoa, they're way ahead of schedule.
I see what you mean.
But if let's say they were to upset Buffalo next week, and then they laid the wood to Cleveland and Tennessee, or whatever the order is. It's Tennessee and New Orleans. Tennessee and New Orleans, I think it is. New Orleans, then Tennessee. Okay, now that's a maturity level that, that would show me something. So maybe the 3-game road trip in its entirety, I don't know. I don't like to overreact on a game.
If they make it competitive in Buffalo and they take care of business in the next 2, you're like, okay, we're at least middle of the pack team.
Or if they get blown out 58-0 in Buffalo and then take care of business in the next 2 games, that will tell me something. That will show me some toughness.
Yeah.
Like, again, I don't want to overreact to the one Buffalo game just because it's Buffalo.
Yeah.
Right.
They could win, they could lose, they could have a close game. They've had a lot of close games against Buffalo over the last 5 years.
Sure.
So I'm not going to get too caught up in it.
It's one of the Mac Jones wins, right?
Yeah.
And then after those 2, you're coming back to Atlanta or Cleveland and Atlanta. I mean, those are, again.
Cleveland's sneaky good on defense.
Cleveland's got a good defense. Atlanta,
that.
I think people just completely dismiss Atlanta, and I don't really understand why.
Because they pick them and then they lose.
Oh, okay.
People are upset. They're one of those teams.
To see how
one of those teams.
That's a good point, because that's the kind of thing that would draw the ire of people.
Right.
I'm sure. I mean, nobody picked them this week, right? They get smoked by the Panthers last week, 30-0.
I just think I love their skill guys. I don't know if Penix is ready yet. He's just sort of getting his feet wet, a lot like Maye, and he's behind Maye because he hasn't played as much. Mm-hmm. But Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier are a good 1-2 punch at running back, and Kyle Pitts is an enigmatic tight end, but Drake London, really solid receiver. I think they have good skill position guys, and when you have that, you can put pressure on a defense, and it gives you a chance to. If you can score, you can win, and that's what's given me the most hope about the Patriots. Is I think they can move the ball now and score. Mm-hmm. So when you can do that, your defense doesn't have to be great, and you can win games. That's what they did today. They ended up overcoming the slow start defensively because they put points on the board and took control of the game.
I'm really loving this email. Wait till the end for it. So. Hey, y'all, what a wild game. This looks like an actual NFL-level offense for the first time in 4 years. Any truth to the rumor that I'm starting that Carolina let Bill coach this week? L in Wisconsin.
Oh, jeez. Carolina.
Too soon, L, too soon.
Now, I mean, this is another team that, you just see it. You see how hard it is. The Patriots have been there. We know what it's like to be this kind of team that you walk in and get your doors blown off and you're just sitting there left holding the bag, wondering which way's up and where you're going to go from there. So, it's not an easy league, and things snowball fast on you. You think you're running away with it in the early first quarter, you give up a big punt return, and then boom, it's game over. All of a sudden, you're down by a bunch of scores. So, that's what I think. To Paul's point, just being able to stay stable for this young Patriots team, to not ride the wave, to not come off of this game and waltz into Buffalo, and I'm sure they won't do that, but. By Paul's token, don't go up there and maybe lay a stinker up in Buffalo and then let that carry over. Beat all these bad teams. If they can just beat these bad teams this year, I think this is going to be a successful year. Whether they make the playoffs or not, or just tell me that you can go out there and play games like this more than just once. You can't just,
Right.
we got a couple punt returns and it unfolded perfectly.
They've played 4 teams that are sort of in the category of what you're talking about. They're 2-2.
Yep.
So can we advance the next 4 games and go 3-1?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Perfect.
That would be progress to me.
And I'll say what I said over the course of the week on PU, the difference between this year and last year, I'm starting to see the semblance of an offense.
Yeah.
I didn't see that last year.
Yeah.
It was every game was, just such a struggle. They couldn't do anything. They can do things. Now, they make mistakes that hurt them, but you see the semblances of an offense, the construction of an offense, and the ability for Drake to execute that.
And I really liked what I saw in that regard today. And I argued with you on it during the week. And today I can see what you're talking about. But today they did something they haven't done in the first 3 games.
Yeah.
They got the ball downfield. And I think it changed everything.
Now, those Diggs
changed
plays
my
to
whole
me,
view of the offense. They had explosiveness to them today. And that's where you get the points from.
just the execution too on some of those. I mean, the Diggs plays are easy to highlight.
And there was a couple actual explosive plays, not short passes that turned into.
Oh no, the first one is a little dump to Hooper, but then you rip off a 20 whatever yard run for Stevenson. You had a 20-something yard run for Gibson. You're throwing the ball downfield a couple of times for 30 yards to Diggs.
Right.
Those are explosive plays.
Those are explosives. Yeah.
By anyone's metric.
Yeah.
Even Evan.
Right. Where is Evan, by the way?
I'm sure he's writing.
What does he do after games like this?
He interviews guys.
He contemplates life.
He contemplates things. He writes. No, he loves it. It takes him about 4 hours to put together his post-game write-up.
Oh, God, and I have to read it.
Fred waking up at midnight like, I forgot.
Because, he's
cold sweats.
He sends it, and he's waiting for,
approval.
I just sent it.
Get through it. I just got to my 3,000 words. Yeah. No, he does a great job. We love him. But I'm sure he's excited to be. Evan's excited about the offense. It's funny. The thing I've noticed about Evan is if they offensively look coordinated and they're executing plays.
They could have lost 45-42 today. I think he'd have the same level of
then he starts throwing out the lingo. Hollins was on a dummy route, and no one knows what that means.
But Fred, like you said, with there being a semblance of an offense, how does this team keep it consistent?
Yeah.
First, it starts with giving Drake time.
Yeah.
If you give him time, he can make things happen. And so that's where it starts. And that's where it ended last year.
Yeah.
He didn't have any time. And even when he had time, he was so rattled from the play before that he didn't think he had time. So, that's where it starts. If you give him a semblance of time, then good things are going to happen.
It might be too early and it might be too small of a sample, but the two best games to me offensively were the games that he didn't throw the ball that much. 21, was it 21 or 23 attempt? I think it was 19 for 23 in Miami, right? Does that sound right?
Something like that.
17 for 14 for 17 today.
Right.
So he has a handful. He ran the ball 3 times. So those are dropbacks. He got sacked. So let's call it 22 dropbacks, 21, 23 dropbacks, something like that. I think that's the formula. You want to stay out. You want to stay 25 or so and avoid the 30s because the pressure's going to come. Yeah. If you get behind the chains and you have to throw, they're not good enough to protect no matter what. No one is. Even the really good offensive lines can't consistently hold up in those situations.
Yeah, 7 plays of 20 or more yards, 3 of 30 or more yards. So that's, I don't know what the numbers are, but it's been a while since they put up that many big plays.
Yep.
Chunkies.
Chunkies. But he likes to call them chunkies.
We talk about the receivers. I beyond giving him time, I love to see Kyle Williams start to get involved. We'd like to see Booty have more. We like, Pop Douglas needs to start being a target, or else, the Chisholm Brigade's going to be knocking at the door.
But I would just say today. Yeah. Let's just take today's entity. What could you possibly say you need to see more of?
Well, no, I'm just saying, no, not today. Today was perfect.
But you're going to be right.
Given the opponent.
I'm going to predict that you're going to be right this week.
Yeah.
Once everybody gets over the hangover, by Wednesday, they're going to be saying, why is Booty not more involved?
Right.
Whatever. To me, there's nothing today to nitpick about anything they did offensively.
But the question was going forward.
Yeah, it's more so a big picture.
Yeah. Again, that all contributes to being tougher to defend. Mm-hmm. If everyone's a threat to catch the ball, then you're tougher to defend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how it continues to develop. I like your point about the offensive line, Fred, and I think I'd be all over them this week and be like, this is going to be a whole another level of challenge against Ed Oliver and the pass rushers that these guys have, just to try to raise their level of play. Cause
This could be the battle for the AFC East right here.
Probably.
That's what we'll
see how the Jets Dolphins
could also clinch the AFC.
Right.
Buffalo wins
not
that
wrong.
3-up.
Literally.
What's the earliest hat and T-shirt game there's ever been?
Good.
Yeah.
That'll be a good one to know.
No, we joke. But
I
you know
do
what,
not
Buffalo?
dismiss their chances.
Watch
Just
out.
I
We're
wanted
coming.
that because I know you'll come back and make fun of me. I'm not. If the Patriots have a good game, I'm going to. Paul said they were going to get blown. No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Okay. All right.
I think Buffalo's defense will keep the other team in a lot of games.
Yeah.
I don't think their defense is great.
No, I hope they just go up there and cut it loose and play with the energy that you take from this game. And that's what I kind of wanted from Mike Vrabel teams, just to play with that kind of, you're going to punch us, we're going to punch you, and let's just see how it ends up. And I think that's how they need to go into that game, with that attitude of, yeah, they're going to land some punches, but we've shown in this game we can land some of our punches the own. The overarching point to me, though, is just how is the defense going to deal with the Buffalo offense? That we haven't seen this defense against a really tight, good offense yet. What does that look like? What does Buffalo's, Joe Brady, their offensive staff, what do they see in the Patriots defense? What do they try to target? Do they have any respect for the run game? Are they going to try to, get James Cook in space against the linebacker? I mean, those are the things I'd be thinking about. So I continue. Look, I'm a defense guy, and I'm always going to have a high bar of what's acceptable. And great job today, but it's the level of difficulty is about to increase exponentially.
And like you said earlier, a win shouldn't be the highs and lows of a win going with that, but taking the momentum of this win and the energy to Buffalo so that they can capitalize on the fact that they are a decent enough team to play in the NFL. Like
Vrabel's got to be careful. He can't have them smelling themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's got to keep them
balance.
level-headed.
It's a dance.
And like Paul said, or maybe you said it, Deuce, we're going to another level here.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Josh Allen now.
Yeah.
And
NFL
so this
MVP.
is Milton Williams. This is why we brought you here. Carlton Davis. This is why you're here. Gonzalez. This is what we need you for. All these guys that we brought in on defense, and Christian Barmore. And this is the game that you're going to show yourself.
Yeah, well, I'll be interested to see, because it felt like after the Miami week, Fred, like Vrabel, I'm like, what's he so pissed about? Like, he seems really, but I think that that's something that coaches do when you have a good game. Now I have some belief. Now I can turn up the intensity a little bit. I can be harder on them about the details, and hopefully that is what forces improvement.
I mean, we talked a lot about Bill Parcells last week because he got inducted, but that was I remember it vividly. You'd come out after a loss and like, oh, he's going to be pissed in the press conference, and he would be the opposite. He would be kind of even-tempered, and then you'd win, and he'd come out and kind of dwell on the bad things, and he would do that with the media to keep the media in
that's
check.
where the message goes.
Imagine what he did with his own players.
Yeah.
I like that strategy.
Yeah.
Coaching, baby.
Yeah, we got an email from, talking about the defense. I know Keon White's position coach said he's going to be a big part of the Pats D, but there's no way that's true, and it's time to cut bait. He can't hold on edge for anything. It's just embarrassing. Dang near every time he's in the game, it was a run play. He lost edge. Another Belichick, I know better than everyone pick that has no business on this team. That's Jay in Atlanta.
Yeah, I didn't key on him that too much, so that could be true.
Yeah,
The
guy I noticed that doesn't hold the edge is Caleb Von Chasen.
Yeah.
He tries to penetrate and jump gaps all the time, and he loses containment.
Early
all the time.
on, Jennings had a good play on the run game. Did he play a lot after that?
He plays on early downs, and then the game gets out of hand, so they're probably not necessarily playing the run. But yes, there's a difference. I totally agree with you, Fred. When he's on the field, the run defense is different.
Yeah.
He has a very particular set of skills.
Well,
he's a good edge setter.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah, and that's the thing that Keon White's still trying to figure out. I was in that interview with Mike Smith on Thursday where he was, spoke very highly. Part of that is coaches like to pump their guys up, and this will be now Keon White's third defensive coaching staff in his career that he's working with. I just don't think they have the depth right now to really get rid of him, and they have to kind of work him in and get him some snaps. But look, I was on it from day one of that. It's probably going to be Chase On and Landry, and that's really what it's been. So we'll see with Keon White, but they don't have the depth to just like cut bait
Just
and
cut
move on
people,
from it.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe we
exactly.
get to the offseason
No.
and you do.
I mean, I don't know if he's going to be
but-
like a long-term solution, but I don't think they're cutting bait now.
But you know what you see from Landry
seem
and
like he
Chase
plays
on
that
is-
much, does he?
No, he's a rotational piece that fills in. Again, one of those like Marty Mapu felt like he played more tonight.
Right,
4
and then-
snaps.
Do you
You know?
remember
Right.
that? Did you remember
It's a
that
feeling.
one?
Huh?
Remember that? Remember last week I
Yeah.
said like it felt like Mapu played
Yeah,
more.
yep.
Played
It
the
wasn't-
exact.
oh my
the
God.
exact same
You
amount.
did not have the Fred feeling.
No, I did not have the feel.
Productive snaps.
Did not have the feel for the game that Fred Kirsch does.
But Keon White's something to look at with the film. And even Marty Mapu, I mean, again, like I felt like he played a little bit more. Like might have ended
You
up
did?
just being 8 snaps, but they were well dispersed throughout the game where it felt like
Not
he
going
was
down
getting
that
out
road.
there
Right, he's
more
like he's
consistently.
not taking the bait on that one.
But yeah, interested to watch him. And you know, Jalen Hawkins with a hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
Does that put Kyle Duggar back into the mix at starting safety?
I think Duggar feels like he's more involved by the week.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not telling you he's playing a major role, but I feel like I notice him more and more each week.
Well, I mean, it
I wonder
almost
if he's
feels
just
like he's
playing himself into a role.
Yeah, I mean, it feels. I mean, the injuries aside, it feels a little bit like where he was early on in his career when you had, you know, he was kind of the third safety, and you know, maybe that is the best spot for him. I don't know.
I would
Maybe
just
he
make
gets
the
a chance
argument
right
that it
now.
hasn't been great with those guys in coverage. So you're not going to have a great cover guy with Duggar. We know that. But you're going to have a more physical presence.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Especially in
So
the
what's the
run, you want to
difference?
bring him down into the box. You know,
It's interesting with Duggar and some of the other. It's almost like Vrabel said, "You haven't proven anything to me," and this
Right.
goes back to the summer.
Yeah.
You know, you have to reestablish yourself with me, and you're not doing it. So I'm not just going to hand you your role back. You're
Yeah.
going to have to earn it, just like everybody else on this team. So, and maybe he's like Paul said, he's starting to do that.
well, do you think part of it too, Fred, is with the fumbles in Ramondre being like you fumbled twice for me, but I'm not going to hold last year
so
against
it works
you.
the other way too.
Right.
It works the
Right.
other way too.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's trying to find his
Yep.
guys, how his guys play under him, and yeah, good start today. Good way for Ramondre to get some carries, big gain, get past that. Hopefully he's can put the fumble problems behind him. But the only thing that's gonna tell you that is he's got to string the rest of the games together a good chunk without a fumble.
Yep.
We talked about the coaching, obviously, all throughout the show, but with Vrabel, obviously coming off of a win, you kind of alluded to it, but I want to hear what you all think. What does he need to do to keep this team focused and consistent heading into? This has become the pre-game show, essentially, but heading into Week 5.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it helps when you have a win under your belt and you have some, buy-in from the players, and they will believe what you're selling them. So I think, like I said, it allows you to be a little bit harder on them, and they have to be better. Look, it's they're nowhere near being a Super Bowl contender yet, and they have to continue to lay the foundation to get there. And even if it's not this year, you're looking for guys that will be part of it in year 2 and year 3. So maybe you don't quite have all the horses just yet, but I think wins like this enable you to get buy-in from all your players and really build a program, which I think you see around the NFL, a lot of teams that have the program, and even when they have a catastrophic injury to even a quarterback, that somehow they're able to kind of stay afloat and it doesn't all fall apart. And that's, credit to these teams that have been around for a while and have had success and have all that buy-in that, it's not going to all of a sudden you lose your quarterback. And, the 49ers are able to hold the fort a little bit with Mac Jones. I don't know how it's going today for him, but, that's the point I'm hoping you can get to.
Well, if I'm Vrabel, I'm telling my coaches and players, like, film review is going to be quick this week. We're just going to look at the first half. And coaches, that's all I want you to key on. Prepare that for the players. We're just going to look at the first half. Second half, great. Things got out of hand.
Well, thanks for nothing.
But we're turning the page quickly to Buffalo. So spend Tuesday getting ready for that turn the page on Wednesday, and then it's just repetition after repetition in practice this week.
Yeah.
For the offense and for the defense, it's they still need to tackle better.
Absolutely.
They still have to focus on those fundamentals and tackling, and that's part of the underneath problems.
I totally agree. Fred.
It's
yeah.
So
it's a good observation. The
Yeah.
underneath problems are at least tied partly to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because I remember when the Ravens had that elite defense with Ray Lewis and they won their first Super Bowl. The thing that always struck me, the first guy always made the tackle. They rarely missed the first tackle. They were always there, and they would make that tackle, and they would limit anything that the offense had already gained. And that's what the good defenses do.
Yeah.
They're sure tacklers. I mean, that's what football's not a complicated game. You block, you tackle, You know, it's not that complicated if you do it well.
Yeah.
So what should he be doing to emphasize these fundamentals? Not, like you said, tackling is part of football. They've been doing it for most
I
of their
put
lives.
the pads on. I don't care. Get the pads on
Yeah.
Wednesday. Get
Yeah.
back to pads on Wednesday.
What's the difference if it's Thursday or Wednesday?
Whatever day it is. No, but usually
Specifically Wednesday.
Wednesday was pad day, and then they'd ease it down.
Yeah,
Whatever
and
day it
for
is.
whatever reason, he's decided it's
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even. Do they even have pads on Thursday, or do they have
yeah.
uppers?
The last
No,
2
no,
weeks.
no, that's pads.
Yeah, he said uppers count as full pads. That's what he
Uppers
said.
count as full
That's what-
pads.
that's
But
what
are
he
they
said.
full
'Cause
pads?
you can't
Yes.
cut anymore.
Well, they don't tackle.
Well-
I mean, if you're looking for them to tackle in practice, that's not
I
going to
don't think
happen.
they have to do goal line, but I mean the tackling drills. You know, when you line up the cones and you have to stay within the cones and it's one-on-one, tackle in that drill.
Yeah.
No thudding. Tackle in that drill.
That's just not going to happen.
It's
It's
got
never happened in an NFL practice since, like, I don't know, 1972.
Oh, stop.
They don't tackle at practice, Fred.
Well,
they don't.
They are allowed to, and I think they should because this team needs help tackling.
Back to the basics.
They do need help tackling.
One day a
That's-
week,
there's no question
we're going to
about that.
tackle today.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be like, you know, the all full-on collisions, like I said, goal line. But I'm talking about drills, tackling drills where you actually tackle. You know, that's why it's called a tackling drill. It's not, we're going to pretend to tackle in the tackling drill. No, we're going to tackle in the tackling drill because we're having trouble tackling.
I'm not saying you're wrong about having trouble tackling. I'm just saying you're looking for something that's just not going to happen. They're not going to tackle at practice, especially during the year.
And we wouldn't even know if they did.
And we wouldn't know if they did.
We don't
So
know.
I can't be proven wrong.
Right.
You know, one thing I was just thinking, though, is how long over those 20 years where Tom Brady, they were dominant and, you know, you'd have an upstart Bills or Jets or Dolphins team that maybe won a couple games early in the season and they came up here and, you know, looking to make a statement or, you know, like looking to prove or see how they – and I don't want to put all that weight on this game this week of, you know, Buffalo has owned the division and it's going to go through them. And at some point, if the Patriots want to get back to greatness, they're going to have to, you know, knock this team off and figure out a way to consistently deal with Josh Allen. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle now as, you know, I have one eye kind of going forward to.
Well, it's how you compete in the game. And, you know, you go back to 2001 when the Patriots were a fledgling team and the Rams were the greatest show on turf and they played them in the middle of the season and, you know, really out-physical the Rams.
Yeah.
They didn't win the game, but they were competitive and they beat the Rams up. And everyone came out of that game said, this team can play.
Yeah.
They proved themselves that they can compete. And we're not there yet, believe it or not. This team still has to prove
No.
that.
Believe it or not, they're not a Super
but
Bowl
there's a lot.
caliber team.
No, I didn't. Well, you're putting words in my
Oh my
mouth.
gosh.
But there's a lot of people
I
that
know, I'm being
before the
I'm
season
being
even
snarky.
started saying that they should be in the playoffs. And now you win a game like this, it's like, all right, we're here. No,
Yeah,
we're not.
no,
we're not
no.
there yet. We still have to prove it against the better teams. And it's a good test.
Yeah.
It's a good test.
Now, I'd love to see them go in and give them a handful, and that would be a
Yeah,
positive sign. But I also
compete.
I would just say prove it against
Yeah.
any team.
Yeah.
Like, on a consider, like, does everybody forget what happened last week?
Yeah.
Like,
what happened?
like
Well, they were the better team last week.
and
They just
they turned it over
right. They
five
turned
times.
over the ball.
Right.
Two
So you're
people.
bad when you do that.
Well, two people were bad. You know,
well,
right? Right.
which two? The quarterback?
May and Dre and Ramondre.
Okay, well, that's kind of hard to overcome.
I know,
when your
but-
quarterback is one of your bads.
But I think you can overcome.
and I'm
it.
just saying, like, to just say, well, if anyone's looking at just one game and saying, okay, they're back, and ignoring the previous game, like,
Oh, no, dude.
I
where
hope
they
no
were
one's doing
bad.
that.
Like, they turned the ball over
but we're
5
building
times and
on-
lost to
we're-
a bad team.
We're building on things, and I think if you go into Buffalo on a Sunday night and compete, that's a step in the right direction.
Yep. But then they have to take that step and do it again,
Sure.
and then again,
Of
and
course
then
they
you're
do.
a good team.
Of course you do.
If in 2001, to finish your analogy, if they had played well against the Rams in November and then lost the next week, no one will be saying they really proved themselves
Yeah, but
against
don't you
the
think
Rams that
playing
night.
well against the Rams gave them confidence to start stacking that?
Yes.
Okay.
But
I'm
they-
not talking about perception
But they
of people.
did. This is why I'm not going to get lost next week.
Yeah.
No matter what happens.
Yeah.
Blowout win, blowout loss, something in between. I want to see what happens after that.
Sure.
What showed
course
me
you
that the
do.
Patriots were coming along was not what they did against the Rams. Yes, you're right. I think they absolutely got a lot of confidence off that game. I think it'd be hard to argue against that. But then they went out and won every game after that.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they had lost the next week, The same thing would have happened against the Rams.
And I'm not saying if you do that against the Bills, you're going to win every game and go to the Super Bowl this year. I think that team had a lot
show
more
me that
talent.
you can come back and win the next week in a game you're quote unquote supposed to win in New Orleans.
Right. That team had a lot more talent than this team. But I'm just saying, competing against, especially a division rival, is important to a team learning how to win.
I agree. I can't argue with anything you're saying, and I love to argue with you, as you know.
And I love watching you guys argue. But we do have to take a quick break. As you guys know, though, the weather was beautiful outside, which means a lot of people were tailgating. And, of course, we saw people in Gillette Stadium, the parking lot, tailgating as well. And nothing says football season, though, like firing up a grill in the backyard and having a cookout. It's the best cookouts, of course, are when you have the best-looking lawns, the lawns that are cut with an Aaron's mower. Aaron's, the official lawnmower of the New England Patriots, is proud to help Patriots fans get back to football. You can visit them right now at www.com. Nope, that's not the website. www.aarons.com to find your errands. You can do that right now, and we'll be right back after the break.
The future with AI will twist and turn. Cisco is the critical infrastructure for the AI era, clearing your path to wide open possibility. Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Let there be ideas too big to stay ideas, and the software to make them soar. Let there be anything. Autodesk.
The future with AI will twist and turn. Cisco is the critical infrastructure for the AI era, clearing your path to wide open possibility. Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Let there be ideas too big to stay ideas, and the software to make them soar. Let there be anything. Autodesk.
The future with AI will twist and turn. Cisco is the critical infrastructure for the AI era, clearing your path to wide open possibility. Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Let there be ideas too big to stay ideas, and the software to make them soar. Let there be anything. Autodesk.
We want to hear from you. So call the hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at podcasts@patriots.com. Now, back to the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings.
Welcome back into the Patriots Postgame Show, as you know, presented by DraftKings. We have a full house now. We have Matt Smith at the end, Paul Perillo, myself, Kwani Lunis, Deuce is here, and Fred Kirsch. We have so much to talk about. But as we know, again, we talk about tailgating and all the fun that happens when it comes to football. And it's sort of a tradition now to come from the break and have no socks on, apparently. But speaking of tradition, you have socks on. Matt may not. But football fans, they know that traditions matter, turning moments together into truly something epic. We do not want a foot cam, by the way, on that.
Sneakers, so he has socks today.
There would inspire us to make our masa and tostitos the original way, starting with whole corn kernels, no artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives, all of that to give you the perfect crunch. You can discover your next tradition this football season. You can head to the store, grab your Tostitos team bag, and scan the code for a chance to score an epic experience with the Patriots. Tostitos traditions matter. Another tradition that we were talking about is just wanting to build upon excellence. That's something that the Patriots have always known historically. That's the Patriot way. And so that being said, we're going to continue with a segment that we started last week called Building on Segment, Building the Legacy. And the Building the Next Legacy is presented by Autodesk. They are the official design and maker platform for the New England Patriots. Autodesk Construction Cloud is trusted by contractors and owners to design, build, and operate over 2 million projects around the world. Like we said, building the next legacy. So speaking of legacy, let's focus in and hone in on the Patriots. What do they need to do to rebuild that legacy?
Well, I think you're building on the big plays today. That's, to me, the biggest takeaway of this game. Like I mentioned earlier, you had, 7 total plays of 20-plus yards. I mean, we said in the pregame, X plays, chunky.
He changed it now. He changed it on us.
Yeah.
I like it when the reporters say it.
Yeah, right. Well, somebody mentions it once, and then everyone's an expert.
Right.
We call them chunkies here now.
But great getting the ball down the field by Drake Maye, the 33-yarder to Stephon Diggs. Outstanding connection between those two. So if they can continue to make those big plays, I think they're going to be in good shape offensively. It's going to open up some of the run game, open up some of the underneath stuff. So no question.
You want to build on that.
Build on those plays. Keep them coming, baby.
Keep
them coming. I like it.
Yeah. Anyone else want anything to build on?
No, it's Mike's world. We're all just living in it.
I like that. But it's perfect because we have Matt here who was in the locker room for us, getting the sound. What's the feeling like? What are the vibes? We need to know.
When you were in the locker room, did your glasses fog up?
They did.
Yeah.
They did?
I bet it gets muggy in
It's
there.
a little muggy in there.
Yeah.
Plus it's humid. So before we go to the locker room, what's the feeling on the desk here, boys and girls? What do we think of the win?
We're excited about it.
Needed win.
Well, I liked it.
Yeah.
We're trying not to get over enthusiastic about it.
You're not going to try to say that I was anything.
What's that now?
Anything but positive on this
Oh,
game.
you're very positive.
He was.
Yeah, for you, we were very positive.
We just don't get too high on the highs and too low on the lows. That's what we're trying to do around here.
I started off the show by giving him his flowers, as the kids like to say, about picking the final score. Do you know what his final score prediction was?
You'd never believe it.
41-10.
Wow.
41.
And he said, with a caveat, not all of those points will be scored by the offense.
Wow.
It's like he had a feeling.
Look, I said Deuce and Paul.
Call me now for your free reading.
Flowers. You said you thought there was going to be a win, and it would be a comfortable win. And it was today. If you didn't nail the score, that's what the Patriots needed, and they got.
I think next week you should bring physical flowers to give people.
Paul and I both had 13 points for the Panthers.
And if it weren't for Marcus Jones, we would have been 28-13.
Right,
kind of onto something.
Damn it, Marcus Jones. You ruined it.
So let's go into the press
conference.
Had to be too good. Nat and Chris, and we'll lead off with Coach Vrabel and what he had to say after today's big win.
To be able to do that on the punt return, fantastic effort by Marcus and everybody else out there. But I think a lot of that was, just his own individual will, skill, and effort. And so, again, that has to be a weapon. It was something that we felt like could be through this season and getting ready for this year. You have to be, fearless at some level to catch that punt and know that you're going to make the first guy miss. And we're confident in that. And, I think you kind of it's just a natural skill. That's hard to teach. It's hard to teach with all those bodies and traffic and catching it first and making great decisions with it back there. So it's a lot of comfort with him back there, and we need to continue to make it a weapon.
Talk about the defense, obviously, you give up that opening score, but then you guys bounce back and pretty much shut them down the rest of the game. Talk about the adjustments you guys made and how you were able to kind of take control of the game on that side.
Just settled down, just settled down a little bit. They did a nice job early on and moving guys around, and we have to to continue to disguise better and tackle better and all those things. And I guess if that's the trade-off for playing great defense the rest of the way, then we'll have to go through those growing pains early in the game. I don't anticipate that we should. But it was good to see us respond, and we've done that. And I'm proud of our guys for not, going into tank or, complaining or pointing a finger or anything like that. Well, then when we don't beat ourselves and we take care of the football and we play complementary football and we get stops on third down, the return, the special teams are a factor, and we score touchdowns in the red zone that, it can look like something. So, again, that's not guaranteed every week, but certainly we can see the difference in how critical those phases are and putting them all together.
Big game, obviously, from Stephon Diggs. Was that an emphasis this week, a matchup you guys saw, or just where the ball was going?
No, that's just where the ball is going. And Steph and everybody's done a nice job. And if we continue just to believe in the quarterback that he's going to throw it to the guy who's open in the progression, that good things will happen. And, we get down there in the red zone and everybody's going to score. We got plenty of plays down there. And if everybody just stays the course and does the right things and does all the things that helps the team, that those plays are going to come for them in the red zone. It's just like the defensive line. They want sacks and they want all this. But, Barmore's disrupting the quarterback and is getting holding calls. And I know I don't want him to be frustrated, but I see those things. Pop Douglas would have liked to have had a couple extra catches today, but he also turned and blocked, and Hunter Henry ran down the sidelines. And nobody's going to say that unless I say it. And so those are the things that matter. Not the guy catching a touchdown. That's the easy part. The hard part's the guy that didn't get the ball thrown to him, that turns immediately and blocks his guy, and we score from the 25-yard line. Thank you.
Tremendous Vrabel at the end, in my opinion, highlighting, touchdowns are nice and everything like that, but how about Pop Douglas on the Hunter Henry play?
Yeah.
Did he run a marathon before he started that?
The energy
was it a boisterous locker room after this game?
Yeah.
I didn't hear the locker room yet. I think they want to take on the persona of their coach. He's businesslike. They needed to come out and win today. He was businesslike today, and I think
Did you see him on the sideline at all?
No. Well, he's boisterous during the game.
Jacked
Oh,
on the
during the
sideline.
game, he's the Energizer Bunny.
He was inside the 5-yard line on one of those touchdowns, the Hunter Henry touchdown.
Yeah. I think that's his persona during the game.
Yeah, I think he's out of his mind.
Yeah, but I think he's more businesslike after the game, don't you?
I don't have
What did you see?
access to that.
No, I think that energy is just the epitome of staying even keel. Like we were joking, you say don't let the highs get too high and the lows get too low. I think, like you said, that's
I
the
don't
message
know what he's like
he
after
wants
the
his
game, to be
players
honest
to
with you.
have.
Well, you just saw it.
That's a post-game press conference.
Well, that's what Matt's talking about.
It's 8 minutes after the game.
Yeah,
and so,
I don't know. I don't know what he was like in the locker room. I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know.
Wow.
I think he's a really excitable guy in the sideline. I don't think he's businesslike on the side. He's
I couldn't agree with you more.
antithesis of Belichick.
Get some footage of him.
Now,
yelling.
I'll take this over Belichick any day.
Yes.
I like my guy. I like some now, as long as you're focused. I don't
And it's
want
not
you,
Johnny Rah-Rah.
Yeah, I don't want Fred used to get really annoyed at Robert Saleh. Remember, you used to say when he was the defensive coordinator, he's rolling up the sleeve. And I kind of agree with you on that, Freddie. We've always been locks that I need my coach to be coaching, not cheerleading.
Yeah.
But when plays happen, the play's over.
Some of the special team coordinators.
Yeah, but when the play's over, I don't mind the Vrabel reactions.
Yeah.
Get excited. You just made a good play.
Right. I think Mike's got a really good.
But your guys don't like it, especially when they clap.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's funny how it changes when it's your guy doing the clapping. That's all I'm saying.
I think Mike's got a good grasp on his team, and I think he knows, how to pump them up. And when things are down and, they need a boost, I think, and we've seen it, or I've seen it at least looking at some of the bench material over the first 3 games, Mike's there to try to pick people up. Let's get up. All it's going to take is one play. It just takes one play to get us going. And I think he's got a good grasp on his team with that. Now, let's listen to the players, with the theme obviously being Marcus Jones and his punt returner, but we start off with the quarterback, Drake Maye.
Shoot our fundamentals and back to kind of establishing our identity. I felt like we did that, and I felt like we didn't hurt ourselves. A few penalties that we would like to have back, and obviously some 3-and-outs that we could have done a better job on first down. But I think proud of the defense. They put us in some great spots. Marcus Jones. Can't say enough about him. Shoot, he's I think the best in the game at it. So I feel it was a full team effort, and proud of the guys.
The first punt, the main thing that I always think about is getting the first down. That's the first thing that I was thinking about, and just getting the offense in a great position. I had someone on my leg for a little minute, but then I got out and I was like, let me try to find some blocking and everything. But I commend my teammates because they never stopped whenever, they could. And, they blocked the guys that they need to block for sure to end up opening up lanes. So.
Drake, you lit up when you were talking about Marcus there briefly. What does that play, the first one in particular, do for the team? Because it seemed like, I don't know, maybe you were in a little bit of a rut early on and then boom.
It's nice, golly. It's good. It's fun seeing that. You kind of always know, I think, when he's back there, you got a chance to get a great return. And it's always, I think the best thing about it is it makes you feel comfortable when he's back there making a great decision, whether it's a touchback or whatever he's doing. And I sure hope they keep kicking it to him because he's fun to watch.
What's your mindset there as you're making that cut and trying to get vertical?
It's pretty simple. Run fast. Don't get caught. That's the main thing that I kind of think about.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to get out there. Like I talked about earlier in the week, all I do and want to do is play football. So it was fun to finally get out there in the home game, and the crowd was rocking, and being out there with the guys, it was a lot of fun.
Marcus, I have to ask you about the second one, the long one, the punter.
Yeah.
Are you gonna hear about this for a long time?
For sure.
How'd that play?
Yeah. So whenever it happened, and what's crazy is usually when someone gets tackled, they get tackled right then and there. But I got clipped and then ran and fell, and I was just like, ooh, I know they're gonna say some stuff about me in the meeting room. So I'm gonna hear it from there. I'm gonna hear it from my family, but it's part of the game and everything. So yeah.
I think we just wanted to come out and be us. It was a big thing of just being us and falling in the trap of, what's in front of us or what's behind us. Being us was crucial, and he had a hell of a day. He's a good quarterback. He's starting to come along, as you can see. He looks sharp out there. I'm just excited for the future and just want to keep building off. I look forward to going to work tomorrow, watching the things that I could have done better. I kind of already know. I was a little hard on myself about it. I try to have a perfect day, but, things aren't perfect. But I'm super excited for what's to come.
Deuce, did you say you have that shirt?
He wants to wear that shirt.
Do you have the
tomorrow.
one with the rips or without the rips?
No, with the rips, of course.
We want to see it.
What's it, about $1,500 with the rips?
Yeah, it's extra for the rips.
How much do you think it is without the rips?
Probably $7.
Okay.
It's the rips that make the shirt.
Well, I would like to see you wear that next week, please.
I'll try.
For the audience.
Hey, Steph's got style. I don't.
And he's got style, and you know what? He showed today, didn't he?
He's got a smile, too.
He showed today.
He did.
100 yards.
He did. Can we talk about Gonzo, though, for a sec? Because I thought he was a little rusty. Not in a bad way, but just seemed like he was, not quite in everybody's hip pocket like he usually is.
42-13, and we're going to talk. Okay.
Huh?
Nothing.
Did I?
No, I thought, and that first catch that he let up, player dug, and he was a little bit slow to react.
Yeah.
Usually he's right in his hip pocket, but when that player stopped short, Gonzo he got toasted there a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
Game shape. He's got to get get comfortable.
And that was
the numbers look great,
it's
right?
Like the hamstring might be 100%, but he's not 100% into shape yet. I'm sure.
That's why I made the comment earlier that it was good to get that out. You win 42-13, so you let them knock off some rust. You're going to need them next week.
Yeah,
you're going to need them. Moving forward for the season. I don't think it was great. I don't think anything in the secondary was great today. I think that the incomplete passes were more a result of some timely pressure and Bryce Young, missed some guys.
Yeah.
For the most part, and the fact that all their receivers were out. But McMillan, I thought he was impressive. Young guy, fourth career game. He looked the part.
He is.
I wasn't high on him in the draft.
Me neither. And that's the place I come to it from, is looking at him thinking, oh, this is another, tall, stiff receiver, but he's got some bend to him, got some wiggle, some nice catches today. Late in the game, down the field, but that's what he's been doing. So, it's a hard place to be for Carolina. You lose like this, but you feel like, you have a definite piece in that kid.
So this is like, they completely tore it down. They got rid of a lot of their good players. And they completely tried to rebuild, and now they're trying to do it, from the ground up, whereas the Patriots brought in a lot of free agents.
Mm-hmm.
2 different times.
Like Washington,
During this rebuilding process. They did it in 21. They did it again this year.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of a different feel. That team is not really ready, I don't think, to compete on a consistent basis. But they're going to have to figure it out because you're not going to get that much more time for the coach and the quarterback. You know, how much more time they're going to get. This is year 3, right, for Bryce Young?
And there's such
year 2 for Dave Canales.
It's such a great example of, what year do you suck and who are the quarterbacks coming out when you suck. The Patriots sucked in 2023, and then in 2024 they got Drake Maye, the third quarterback taken. Carolina sucked 2022, and they get Bryce Young, who, at the time, everybody
could have
says
taken
yes.
C.J. Stroud.
Sure.
And that game would have looked different today.
Right. But you got to make right choices when you have those picks, and, sometimes it doesn't even matter. I mean, a lot of people had Bryce Young as the number 1 guy, and now you see his limitations, and you're kind of stuck with what he is now.
We have a call that came in from Ivan in California.
That must
might be the last caller of the show, Ivan.
So Matt doesn't even say goodbye?
Yeah, he just
did
They put the hook in.
Irish
The
goodbye?
I was going to call it an Irish
But how do
exit.
the Irish feel about that? I don't want to offend them.
Well, I don't know.
Ivan.
Irish and Italians, we're the only one. I'm Italian.
Something I said, Matt?
It's the only ones that you can,
Sorry, Ivan. We got into a little
you can
rant.
criticize without any problems.
Exactly.
What's up, Ivan?
No worries. Hey, gang. Best part about today is that we finally beat bad football and in a convincing way. And I think it's something that we haven't seen the last couple of years. So there's a lot to take from it. And also, there's a lot on the tape to clean up. And I'm with you guys. The defense is definitely a concern. But, 2-2. And finally got a win at home, which is really important. And I think, let's see what happens going up to Buffalo. But I think it's great that they thank God for our special teams, number 1. And thankfully, where I think the arrow was pointing up a bit. And Drake Maye looked really command of the offense today and made some really good decisions. Had a little PTSD when Ramondre was, carrying the ball, but
hold on to it.
We got out of it. So anyway, great win. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Okay,
Ivan.
thanks, Ivan.
I like his even keel
Co-signing
attitude.
that entire call.
Yeah.
No, and that's what I like. It's like as bad as Carolina was, and as much as they didn't really want to play, it still wasn't the kind of game where it was like, they had 3 pick sixes and just made catastrophic mistakes to hand the
But it's
Patriots.
like you and I
points,
said, it's not like they took advantage of bad football and won 17-13.
Yeah,
They
right.
took advantage of bad football and won 42-13.
And they pasted them.
Yeah. And the game was not really in doubt from the middle of the second quarter on.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a good sign. Got to keep doing it though.
But it's not a good sign unless they stack up a bunch of good games after
or else
this.
you'll just remember this game as a
I don't understand
one-off.
why you keep saying that. Because this is like people now will aggregate it and they'll complain that that's what's happening. But that's the what we live in. You're saying stuff that I never said.
Okay.
Like this is like the 3rd time you're trying to say that. I didn't say this was a dominant win.
I didn't say you didn't say that.
Like I don't know what else you could have done today to dominate. I don't really know what else they could have done.
But you got to stack them.
Well, is it okay if they lose the next 4?
No.
Absolutely
Okay.
not.
No.
And that's the hard part. It's a game-by-game basis. So you can't really compare today because, like you said, next week will be a different, better, way better.
We don't know who we
opponent.
are yet.
Yeah.
So, like you just said, it's game to game. Like we don't know who we are.
Can I share this stat that was just shared with us? I think it's a pretty good tweet. Drake Maye had a 75+ completion percentage and throw 2+ touchdown passes in 3 consecutive games. The only player in NFL history with a longer streak within a single season. Tom Brady's 4-game streak for the Patriots in week 1 to 4 of his MVP season in 2007. So, nice little streak there for Drake, completing passes and scoring touchdowns. So
I like that we're
keep it up.
mentioning Hall of Famers in our stats today, too.
Yeah.
That's a sliver of hope.
So can you read that again in English, like slower? So because
in layman's terms,
75, more than a 75% completion percentage, as well as 2 touchdowns in 3 consecutive games. So
Another
that's
one of
the
those
streak.
plays where a guy's celebrating
Not
before
bad.
he gets to the end zone,
Oh,
Freddie.
no.
K.D. Mitchell.
And the only other player to do that in a single season was Brady in his 4 game when they
Thomas.
blew doors in the first 4 games of that 2007 season. So just Drake 75% completion, 2+ touchdowns.
So now we overreact and say he's the next Tom Brady.
Well, no, but now we
Well,
put it
Peyton
in
Manning, Aaron
context, right,
Right,
Paul,
in
and say
context.
that up until today they were all short passes. So of course the completion
Well, I
percentage is
don't-
going to be high.
I don't need any context.
Okay.
He's played at a very high level, for the most part, when he doesn't turn the ball over.
Yep.
Like he did that last week and turned it over twice.
Yeah.
So, to your point, when you go 2-2 in those games, I'm going to guess Brady went 4-0, but that's me.
The 2007, they did in fact go 4-0.
Yes.
They didn't lose until the Super Bowl. That
Correct.
Paul. I don't know if you were there.
I remember
to
that
witness
year.
it in person. I wasn't.
Who did they play?
A little red zone update.
I
A.D.
forget.
Mitchell,
I blocked it
unbelievable
out.
Sorry, I
catch and
didn't
run,
mean to
except for he celebrates as he gets to the end zone and fumbles.
no. Did he cross the goal line, though?
No.
Well,
Oh, no.
now we have a response. Everybody's like, they got to trade for A.D. Mitchell. No, thanks. I like guys who score the touchdowns.
I have a red zone here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Maye. We talked about this a little bit about a half hour ago. I think this is the sweet spot. Like you keep the attempts down, and I think you're much more able to protect him. Like Fred says, that's the key. When he has time, he looks like he knows what he's doing. I think he looks very comfortable in the offense right now, doing what Josh McDaniels is asking him to do.
He does.
And that's why they're completing such a high percentage of passes. They're not necessarily putting the ball in harm's way. Really, only one ball all day today. The very first one.
Yeah.
The third down, that he kind of threw into traffic on the first third down of the day.
Scary.
And he's right. You talked about, the 3 and outs. Like I think they had 3 and outs in the game, but I don't care. 42-13.
And as Evan would say, the arm talent is evident. The problem he gets sometimes is guys wide open and he short arms it because it's mental.
Yeah,
it's mental.
times.
Like it's almost like he's just better when he just throws on the run and wings it. But when a guy's wide open, sometimes
he has too much time.
He shorts arm.
There was a couple ones where it's just he kind of gets all out of
2
whack
today.
and he just kind of opens up and chucks it. I mean, that one is his footwork's pretty
That
good.
was the only one that was ill-advised the whole day. It was like, as soon
Yeah.
as it let us in, we're like, oh, no, Drake.
Threw it at all.
I think that might have been the first pass attempt of the day.
Yeah, Mike Jackson.
That was good.
Well done. You got to put the hand up when you do it.
All right. Well.
Wow. What? We've come to that time.
I feel like we've talked. I was saying we've talked about everything. I was trying to figure out what exactly we could talk about. I think it's time for us to end the show.
It is.
But before we go, quickly, fans, game day is here. It's here every day, really. You can grab a refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar 12-pack right now because tailgating deserves a Pepsi. And of course, Patriots pregame show is also sponsored by the Massachusetts 250 campaign, commemorating a history of possibility. You can plan your revolutionary weekend at Massachusetts250.org. Before we get out of here, before we go, Paul Perillo, you say something?
No,
your point. I was like,
I'm getting ready. I was waiting for you to hit it.
Paul Perillo, Deuce, Kirsch, and myself, Kwani Lunis.
Kirsch.
Now you're Kirsch. Sorry. Feel the friend.
Prognosticator.
Right. We have so many nicknames for you. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back here next week for Week 5 against the Buffalo Bills. Should be a good one.
Hey, this is Evan. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure to like us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure to follow on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.